Hey guys, how's it going? It's JMoney1095 here with you today. And today we're going to be doing the mission San Juan Island run in FSX. So we don't need to do that, we just need to start our engine. Somehow, let's go in the cockpit here. Where's the mixture control? It's up here. There it is. Okay, so now we got our engine running. And so then we'll just take off and fly over to Lake Union there. We'll raise the flaps one notch. Let me just set my trim here. Now we don't want to get too high because we're going to be landing in 7 nautical miles in that lake right there. In this mission you do have to handle the radios by yourself, which basically means pushing the button as they pop up for whichever you decide to do.
66 Zulu, Kenmore base. There's a guy at Lake Union who just booked a charter to Lake Cushman on the peninsula. I know you were scheduled for a Friday harbor flight, but if you're looking for a challenge, this might be more interesting. Shorter, too. If you want to do it, let me know.
So I think we're going to take the Lake Cushman charter because it's shorter and it's more interesting. So let's go ahead and accept that.
Roger, the guy's waiting for you on the dock at Lake Union. I'll explain how to get to Lake Cushman once you're at the dock and have something to write with. 598, as you probably just heard, you've now got the Friday harbor run.
Got it. 598.
And a useful trick is to steer in the water, push Control W to lower your water rudder. You can see it right there. Raise and lower. Oh. So let's prepare to land at this Lake Union. We're going to pick the guy up. Now the tricky bit here is the taxiing so you don't hit the dock, because there's no one to actually catch you and push you off the dock like there would be in real life. So we'll set our flaps for landing. Now, this lake is fairly large and it doesn't take that long to stop. So unless you want to be doing a lot of taxiing, you don't need to land really early. So like maybe about where that point of island juts out with that one building on it. That's where we're going to try and aim. If you just draw a line there.
66 Zulu, roger.
And you could even land after that. Just have to keep in mind that seaplanes don't have brakes. And I don't know if you can hear that squeaking in the background. That's my yoke. And there's not really a whole lot I can do about that. So if you do hear that, I apologize. So now we'll drop the water rudder down by pushing S. So the water rudder is right on the rear there. You can see it right of the pontoons. You can see them going up and down there. So now for the fun part. Now, the other thing is you have to be moving, otherwise you'll just go in a straight line. You have to have some speed. So we're just going to try and pull up right off the end of the dock.
Hey there, got a pen? Lake Cushman is about 40 miles southwest of here. Take off and follow the ship canal west toward Puget Sound. Just keep flying west over the water and islands until you come to the Olympic Mountains. When you get close to the mountains, you'll see Hood Canal running from north to south at the base of the hills. Follow it south for about 25 miles. When the canal eventually curves east, look to the west and you'll see Lake Cushman nestled in the foothills. Turn west and fly there. The place the guy's going to is a house at the far west end of the lake. There's a small dock where you can drop him off. Got it? West of the canal at the base of the mountains, then south along the canal, then west when the canal goes east. Have fun, and don't get lost.
So
Thanks. Kenmore Base out.
So they give you all those directions, and really you don't have to listen to them, because there will be waypoints along the way. And they make it sound a lot more complicated than it really is. So let's set our flaps for takeoff, raise the water rudder, so that way we don't have any steering problems. And then let's go ahead and give her full throttle. Okay, so now I'm going to use the autopilot to hold an altitude. Let's go 5,000 feet. Or maybe let's go 4,000. So now we have the autopilot on for that.
66 Zulu, roger. Have a good flight.
Okay, so now we just have to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. So I'll resume recording when we get back to somewhere where we have to do something. Okay, so we're approaching Hood Canal here, and if you remember the directions that he gave you, it said fly west to the canal, south along the canal, and then west when the canal goes east. So we're just going to follow this. Hopefully you can see my mouse. This direction here. So, the other thing is, if you use the autopilot like I just did, you won't notice this because your heading will hold until you turn the autopilot off. But the problem with this plane is it slowly, like, I think as it uses fuel, for some reason it's on the left side. Even though it's, the selector down here is front tank, center tank, and rear tank. It still seems to like draw fuel from the left side because that's where the weight. Because then it'll slowly turn left, yaw left, roll left. It'll roll left, I think. See, like it's right now turning, and I'm not doing that. But anyways, so we're just gonna follow this south down that way until it goes east, and then we're just gonna cut across. And if we look at the GPS, if we zoom out, so right here, we're gonna go this way. And it's probably this little spot right here. And he lives at the north tip of it, I think. So yeah, I'll skip ahead till when we make this turn up here. So, see you in a bit. Okay, so, actually this is while I'm flying here, I thought this would be a good time to do a basic tutorial video, which I said I was going to do a while ago, and then never really did. But anyways, I'll do that right now. So, do some basic controls of FSX. F9, F10, F11, F12 are for changing views on your keyboard. F9 is cockpit, F10 is 2D cockpit, F11 is locked spot, F12 is straight down. Otherwise you can use S to scroll through them, and that just scrolls. If you right click, you get this. It scrolls through cockpit, outside tower, runway, and yeah, just these four. And then if you click A, it scrolls through a certain group, which is like if you, okay, let me just see my mouse. So if you have it on cockpit or outside aircraft here, it'll scroll through these views here, and it's dinging at me. So I usually use, so if we go here and then click A, I usually use spot view, just because it's smoother when spinning, when looking around outside. So if we go back in the cockpit, then here you have your throttle. That's self-explanatory. Your propeller control. This is only in a propeller-driven plane, and what that does, it controls the pitch of the propeller. So it means that you can rotate the angle that the propeller cuts through the air. So if it's flatter, then there's not as much thrust, but it runs at higher revolutions. And so where's the RPMs? Oh, here. So if you look at the RPMs needle here, you can see that now this means the pitch is, here it says high pitch. That it runs at lower RPMs, but it's...
Kenmore Base, 0 Kilo Alpha is off the Nemo for Kenmore with 4 passengers and a whole lot of salmon. We'll need 3 fish boxes.
0 Kilo Alpha, roger. Give us an update when you're closer. Copy 3 fish boxes.
So yeah, basically, if you wanted to not run at such high RPMs, you could do that, so that way we get it out of the red. Let's get it in the green, right there. Then you have your mixture control, which basically controls how much fuel is put into the mixture for the air and gas. Air and oxygen. You need oxygen and gas to make an explosion. So this, if you pull it all the way back, it's no gas goes in, and then your engine dies. And if you have it all the way full, then there's a lot of gas. So you don't need to run it at full, but so like, and you can tell by looking.
Kenmore Base 355 off Friday Harbor for Lake Union.
At
355, roger. Have a good flight.
the exhaust gas temperature, which I'm not sure where it is in this plane, but like in a Cessna it'll be like right over here. There's a small needle, and as the temperature increases, there's peak EGT, which is when you have, that's the most, it's the most efficient, not fuel efficient, but the engine is creating the most power that it can. You're getting as much as you can out of the fuel. And then there is, usually they run it at about 10% lower than that for fuel efficiency. So right now I just pulled it back so it wasn't draining as much, but you can like go all the way down there. And if you fly at higher altitudes, then you also need to reduce it, so that way it doesn't, because as you go higher in altitude, there's less oxygen, which means you need less gas, and so on and so forth. Whoa, that's turbulent. Holy smokes. So now we're turning right, because there's where it turns left. And so yeah, there's the thingy probably right behind, straight ahead, maybe. Yeah. So now we're going west. Then we have your gauges. You have your airspeed. This one's in miles per hour. Most other planes are in knots. 1 knot is like 1.15 miles per hour or something. Then your attitude indicator tells you your attitude. These lines up here tell you your bank. So like this is 60 degrees of bank. If this line meets that line, it's 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees, 10, whatever, so on and so forth. So as you turn, you see now we're at 30 degrees of bank, and now we're at another 30 degrees the other way. So yeah, just to give you an idea there. You have your altitude. This is your barometric setting, which is at right now 29 or 9 or 2, which is the default, and it's the standard barometric pressure. So like when you're above 18,000 feet, you usually set it to this. Right now I don't know what it's set to. Let's see, if we hit B, you see the altimeter just moved. B automatically sets it, otherwise you can adjust this right here. Oh, actually before it was at 2.8 something, now it's at 2.9 or 2. B automatically sets it, otherwise you can do it manually by whatever they tell you over the radio. You have your flaps, tells you what bank your flaps are at. This is for radio navigation. For like NDBs, NDBs, VORs, and I don't know, I think there's an O1, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how to use those. You have your compass, and then there's also the other compass here. This one only, I don't know if it's simulated in the game, but in real life you have to fly level for this to be accurate. Otherwise it bounces around because it's a ball. So you can't read it in your turn. You have to turn, stop, fly level, then turn some more. This one is a gyroscope, so it's always accurate. But there is gyroscopic drift, which is because it's a spinning. A way a gyroscope works is there's a spinning thingy and something like that, and it causes this to go off. So you have to reset it with this magnetically every 15 minutes or so. Then you have your vertical speed, self-explanatory, up 500 feet per minute, down 500 feet per minute. And then your ADF, oh that's the other one, ADF is the other thingamabobber. You have your radios, if I pull the stack up. So then you have shift
Anyone
1.
headed up to the San Juans? We just passed over a big pot of orcas off Cattle Point. Keep your eyes open as you approach the islands, and you should get a good view of them. Quite a sight.
Okay, so if you push Shift 1, you get that cockpit view. If you push Shift 2, you get your radio stacks. Now this is the way it works for... Oh wow, we are actually a lot closer than I thought. That beep means I turn the autopilot off. In fact, I think it might be that right there. So anyways, yes it is. So we're just going to make a bit of a steep descent. Add full flaps so that way we don't die. So then Shift 2 pulls up your radio stack. You have your COM 1, COM 2. You have to adjust this one and then click that to switch them back and forth. Then you have nav 1, COM 1, COM 2, nav 1, nav 2. Same thing.
66 Zulu, roger. Looks like you found the lake.
And then you have your ADF and your DME. That's for radio navigation as well. And your squawk. If you're ever in a multiplayer session, sometimes if you're talking to the tower, they'll have you squawk a certain code, and this is used to identify you while you're flying. So if you're not on in a controlled airspace, the standard squawk is 1200. Then you have your autopilot down here. Shift 3 brings up your GPS. 4 is that. 5 is... It's different for each plane. So if you usually... If they're not all assigned, like if you push Shift 9, only Shift 1 through 7 are assigned on here, and there's a list of them there. I'll push it again so you can read it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it. So, right, and someone commented on my last video that he doesn't have a joystick or anything. So I use, right now I'm flying with a yoke and throttle quadrant rudder pedals. Otherwise you can use a joystick. If you're using a mouse and keyboard, it's really not as, you have hardly any control. I've done it before and it's really quite hard to control it the way that Flight Simulator is set up for it. So yeah, I would really recommend getting a joystick or throttle quadrant or yoke or something. The joystick that I use is it's a cheap one from Best Buy. It works great. I haven't had any problems. It's $30. It's a Logitech Extreme 3D Pro or something like that. You can Google it. Logitech joystick. It should be like the first one or something. Okie dokie. So that was a successful landing. Now we just have to taxi over here to drop him off. We'll put up our flaps. I also have a switch panel. I got all my stuff. Well, except for I bought the joystick at Best Buy, and the rest I bought from Sporties, which is a store that sells stuff. Say tech stuff for simulation and stuff. I've said stuff a lot in that sentence. So, yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. If it was, drop a like, or if you would like more of these videos, feel free to subscribe. And, yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll just pull up to the dock here. And we're going a bit fast. I might be too far away. Goodness, where am I supposed to drop him off at? There, get out. Shoo. Oh, Shift D is to open your door. And if you push Shift D, and then let go, and then push 1, 2, 3, or 4. It'll open other doors that might be able to be opened. Don't get on the land. Cool beans. Now I just gotta try and drop this guy off. If you're in a seaplane, be really careful, because if you do bump into the dock, you'll get stuck up on top of it, and it's really hard to get down without crashing. In missions, anyways. So, yeah, just a bit of advice. Yeah, there we go. Unload him. There we go. Success. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.